In the busy heart of Gangnam, where power is measured in glass, steel, and secrets, the KC Group skyscraper shined like a jewel in the Seoul night. Inside, a fancy party celebrated the Kim family's success, a sea of fake smiles and expensive jewelry. But under the bright, misleading lights of the chandeliers, a storm was about to break. In a corner, almost invisible, was Park Se. In an expensive dress that didn't feel like her own, she was a shadow in her family's festival of lights. And at the center of it all, like the sun that all planets circle, was her half-sister, Kim Ji-woo, the golden child. The high point of the night was supposed to be Ji-woo's big moment, but disaster struck. The screens flickered. The perfect project was replaced by a humiliating failure. With fake tears in her eyes, Ji-woo blamed the only person she could, her dear sister, Seo-yeon. Chairman Kim Min-jun, their father, walked over to Seo-yeon, not like a dad, but like an executioner. His eyes, as cold as the steel of his empire, locked onto her. He didn't yell. His voice was a whispered poison, loud enough for all of Seoul's elite to hear his judgment. You are useless. A parasite living off our family's name. The camera focuses on Seo-yeon's pale face, a single tear starting to make its way down her cheek. Humiliated, destroyed, and publicly sentenced by her own father, Seo-yeon ran from the party. The sound of cruel whispers following her through the streets of Seoul to her only safe place. A small, simple studio in the artsy neighborhood of Hongdae. There, surrounded by her canvases and drawings. The walls that once protected her from the world now seemed to trap her with her memories. The humiliation from that night wasn't a sudden blow, but the final wound in a silent war. She remembered her father dismissing her drawings as scribbles that don't pay the bills. She remembered her stepmother, Choi Yoon-kyung, introducing her as the artistic daughter, which was just a nice way of saying the useless one. She remembered how every compliment for Ji-woo was a hidden insult to her. On that cold night in her studio, Seo-yeon believed her father's words. Maybe she really was a parasite. Needing some air, Seo-yeon wandered aimlessly to the Mapo Bridge, where the lights reflected on the Darkhan River like neon tears. Feeling hopeless, she leaned over the railing with the weight of the world on her shoulders. That's when a calm voice spoke next to her. It was Han Dong-wook, the heir of the KC Group's main rival. He had been at the party, too. Seo-yeon expected a look of pity, but instead, she found respect. What I saw tonight wasn't a parasite, he said, offering her a handkerchief. It was a lioness being caged. His words were the first drop of kindness in an ocean of cruelty. He didn't offer solutions, only his card, saying that talent shouldn't be wasted. For the first time that night, Seo-yeon felt a spark of something she had almost forgotten. Hope. Back in her studio, the feeling in the room had changed. Seo-yeon looked at her art, the same pieces her family had made fun of, and then, at the small card in her hand. The humiliation still burned, but now it was mixed with the anger and determination that Dong-wook's words had sparked. She wasn't a burden. Her talent wasn't just a scribble. It was her only weapon. In that moment, she made a decision that would change everything. She wouldn't be the victim anymore. She would use her art, her soul, to fight back. The parasite was dead. It was time for the host to take control. With quiet tech support from Dong-wook, who gave her access to platforms and resources, Seo-yeon dove into her work. She created a secret name to protect her art from the Kim family. Eclipse. Day and night, she drew. Her pain, her anger, and her hope poured into an online The story, full of raw emotion and subtle criticism of Seoul's elite, started to connect with thousands of people. Eclipse became a whisper, then a conversation, and soon it was a huge success. Anonymously, the parasite's art was winning over the very city that had looked down on her. The success of Eclipse grew so big it was impossible to ignore. And in a perfect twist of irony, the anonymous artist's work caught the attention of the KC Group, desperate to connect with a younger audience. They saw Eclipse as a goldmine. The job of finding and hiring this mysterious artist was given to the most qualified person. The perfect Kim Ji-woo, arrogant and confident. Ji-woo announced in a meeting that she would bring Eclipse to the KC Group at any cost, having no idea that the hunt she was about to start would lead her right back to the sister she had destroyed. While Ji-woo was busy hunting a ghost, the family matriarch, Choi Yoon-kyung, started to connect the dots. The sudden change in Seo-yeon's behavior was suspicious. To find out the truth, she set a trap, an invitation to a family dinner at their luxurious mansion in Abgyeongdong. Seo-yeon accepted, But the young woman who walked into that house was not the same one who had left the gala in humiliation. She was no longer a lamb, being led to the slaughter. This time, she was a wolf in sheep's clothing, ready to play her family's own manipulative games. The dinner was a theater of lies. Her stepmother and sister treated her with a poisonous sweetness, asking subtle questions about her life. Seoin played her part perfectly, pretending to be broken and lonely. Then, Jiwoo arrogantly began to talk about her plans to hire the famous Eclipse. It was the opening SEO I had been waiting for. With fake innocence, she commented, "Oh, Eclipse. I heard her inspiration for the next chapter comes from an old legend about a flower that only grows in the dark." Silence fell over the table. That was a piece of information only Eclipse and her closest confidant could possibly know. The faces of Jiwoo and her mother turned pale with shock and horror. The tables had turned. They knew who she was. But they could unadmit it without revealing they were trying to hire the parasite they had thrown away. With her family in checkmate, Seoin made her final move. She scheduled a formal meeting in the chairman's office at the KC Group. Not as a daughter, but as a potential business partner. There, she officially revealed to her father that she was eclipsed. Seeing the numbers and the potential for profit, Chairman Kim did what he always did. He tried to buy success. He offered her a position, power, money, anything to bring her talent under the KC Group's name. Seoin looked at the man who had sentenced her and, with a calmness he had never seen in her, she refused. "I don't need your throne," she said. "I've built my own empire." Then, she announced her official partnership with Han Dong-wook's company, making her a direct competitor to her father's empire. Months later, at the top of the Seoul Tower, Seon and Dong-wook watched the sunrise paint the sky over the massive city of Seoul. Her webtoon, titled The Parasite Daughter, was now an international hit, about to be made into a K-drama. She was no longer defined by the Kim name or the shadow of the KC Group. She had found her own family in her friends and her partner, and her own self-worth in her work. Looking out at the horizon, Seo-yeon smiled. The parasite didn't just survive. She had proven to be the seed of a rare and resilient flower that had finally found its own place to bloom in the sun.
Hey, did you like this story? Then hit subscribe to Between Lies and Love so you won't miss the next chapters. Don't forget to like this video. It really helps us bring you more emotional, anime-style K-drama stories. And I want to know, what was your favorite part of this story? What do you think we could do better in the next episodes? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and your idea might even show up in the next video. So subscribe, like, comment, and join this family that loves drama, twists, and unforgettable stories.